Opening prayer, please. The energy of love is within us and is us. Whole and complete is the I am that we are. We awaken to the truth of our being. We will this be done within and without. May we come to recognize that we receive all that we give. We know that we have forgiven ourselves when we forgive others of all grievances held within our minds. May we not be led into temptation by the voice of separation, but instead may we transcend all illusions. For ours is the power, love, and peace of Christ consciousness found within each of us, who is but the perfect extension of the one mind and heart that is shared by all, and is our birthright as the holy extensions of love itself. And our affirmation of faith: we believe in one God, the author and energy of all life, whose love sustains us, the universe, and all things found within it. And our 5 Christ principles. There is only one energy in the universe. That energy is love, at all times active in everyone, everywhere. 2, we are the divine energy of love, and that energy is found throughout the universe and in all things, whether seen or unseen. 3, we create our experiences by what we choose to think, feel, and believe, thereby establishing our responsibility for our own choices. 4, through opening our heart center, we connect with the energy of love and bring out the Christ within us. 5, we express our desire to be of service when we live and demonstrate Christ consciousness in all our affairs.
Thank you, Ms. Penny, and thank you, Kevin. Welcome, everyone, to this beautiful Sunday morning here in Jacksonville, Florida. I'd like to start with Happy Mother's Day to all those who are mothers, who are here in the sanctuary, who are watching, or who will watch later. thank you for joining us here at the Church of Christ Consciousness. Today, we have a special treat because it's Mother's Day. Miss Penny is going to lead the talk on what it's like for Mother's Day from a mother's perspective. And then after that, I will follow up what it is to be the child and the love that we have for our mothers. So, Miss Penny?
There are many opportunities in life to truly experience the love of God. Those little opportunities that we miss every day. But for me, one of the greatest and most humbling learning experiences was that of both having a mother and being a mother. I learned a lot of lessons that I would have learned no other way. From my mother, I learned to forgive the past. I lived in Parkersburg, West Virginia, and it was a little town on the edge of the Ohio River. When I was 5 years old, my mother packed me and my two brothers, because the rest of the children weren't born yet, into a car and drove across the bridge to Belpre, Ohio, where the radiator proceeded to expel its water. Since there were no cell phones, she pulled the three of us out of the car and proceeded to walk across an old, open grate bridge. Steve, at age 6, was a fearless one. He ran ahead. Mom carried Jimmy, who was 3 years old, and I froze. I wasn't going across that bridge. I could see the water moving beneath us and just froze. My mom pushed me across that bridge. The fear I felt from that experience was immense and became buried until one day, as a mother myself, I broke down, or my car broke down. While I waited on the tow truck, I recalled that incident and began to feel what it must have been like to be a mother with 3 small children to walk across an open gate bridge with one child running ahead, one child unable to move, and carrying the third in your arms. That lesson taught me that in any situation we find ourselves with another person, they are not having the same experience. So, well, I could not then understand my mother's actions as a child, because I thought, why was my mom so mean and pushing me from a 5-year-old perspective? I understood my mother's actions, and in that moment, I forgave myself for not understanding. So, one of the lessons my mother taught me was to forgive your past. Raising my son was kind of like a spooky life review, as he began asking the questions I had asked as a child and developing the same habits that I had. The lessons I learned from being a mother are trust. I learned trust on those nights. Sorry. I learned trust on those nights when I stood watch, when my child's fever was high and breathing was labored, and when I waited long hours way after a surgery was supposed to have been completed for the doctor to come tell me he was finished. And in that, I learned all things unfold as they should. Unlimited joy. I learned joy as I watched him play with his friends to interact with others, because he was considerate and sharing, something I had not quite experienced as a child. And when he had those moments of aha, as he began to understand spiritual lessons, my heart rejoiced. Caring for others. As a teenager, he came home one day and asked me for the extra blankets that I had. As I collected them, he told me that they were for the homeless people around his workplace who were experiencing the cold weather, and I was truly humbled. And then I learned that we must follow our own path, because we all like to tell everybody what to do and what activities they should do because they're the best at them. And I stood in awe of Aaron's natural artistic talent when at 4 he created wonderful art. His drawing animals and people, his perspectives were perfect. His colors were perfect. And then he went to kindergarten and found out that children his age really draw stick figures. So he reverted to age-appropriate artistic style, and I had to let that be. Although I'll have to admit I worked on it a little bit trying to get it, but he was having none of it. But many people do not have mothers that are easily celebrated. And the lessons of motherhood are much deeper than the physical and illusory world. So how do they learn the lesson of mother? Mother is more than the individual who gave you birth, and is a reflection of the spiritual mother, the feminine aspect of God. In the Bible, mother is used as a metaphor for how God loves his children. So honoring mother is much more than honoring our human mother. It is also acknowledging the mother aspects of all good things for which in this physical world are representative of the spiritual world. In the spiritual realm, mother represents the feminine energy of God, the nurturing energy of creation, with love and joy. And in the Trinity, the feminine aspect is the Holy Spirit, the communicator. Mothers, we can communicate in every tone of voice that there is when it's appropriate. So begin to acknowledge the gentle, caring energy of the mother that comes to you through the kindness of others, whether it's a passing smile or through a friend. Feel the sun that kisses you with sunshine on your cheek and blesses you with great joy and laughter of friendship. Give thanks for Gaia, whose very body nourishes you with food and provides you with the most beautiful scenery and flowers there can ever be. On this day, let us begin to see the spirit of Mother anew. Let us express gratitude for the energies of love and joy and the gifts that are given to us through the earth and the heavens and by Source itself. Thank God for the energy of Mother, for it sustains all life.
That was beautiful, Miss Penny. Thank you. I know when I say this, I hope everyone who hears it understands what I mean. When I think of my mom, I couldn't have been more blessed. To me, I had the best mom in the world. She was always there and still is. My mom is still present. I have 2 stories I'd like to tell real quick. 10 years ago, I lost my sight. My mom, in front of me, never cried. Although I found out later that when she was by herself, she would bawl. But when she was with me, she was always loving and kind and caring and telling me, you will get through this. Nothing is put on you that will make you stronger. And she was right. She helped me get through that first year after I lost my sight. And by just being selfless. She was always there if I needed, but she wouldn't let me just mope and stay home. She was like, You're going to get out in the world. If you fall, you fall. We'll pick you up, dust your britches off, and keep going. It was like I was 3 years old. The other story I want to tell. I had 7 heart operations. The doctor, the cardiologist, the cardiac surgeon, didn't think I was going to make it. I had been in a drug-induced coma for 4 weeks. And my heart rate was beginning to plummet. My mother was sitting there, as she said, every day, and she watched the heart monitor go from 22 to 20, 18, 16, 14, and I coded at 12. They brought the crash cart. The doctors, the nurses come running in. I of course, didn't know any of it, except one thing I will never forget. Even being in the drug-induced coma, I will never forget. She was holding my hand, and she squeezed it so hard that I remember being able to feel it, because I thought she was going to break it. And she leaned in as only a mother can do, and she whispered while the doctors were trying to save me and bring me back. I do remember. I can remember in that moment what she said, and I will always give it to God that I was allowed to hear it and remember it. She leaned in and she whispered, "Not today, son. Not today." I share these stories because I guarantee every one of you watching, every one of you sitting here this morning has some kind of a story. Maybe not quite like mine, but still where your mother was there, took your hand, held it, guided and directed you. And I'd like to share this. Someone once asked me, "What do you think God is like?" Sat back. Yes, I could give all the answers that most people would give. But in that moment, that wasn't what I was supposed to do. I felt it. I looked at this person and I said, God is like a mother who loves us unconditionally, cares for us regardless of what we do, only wants the best for us, and is always there through thick and thin, through the storms, and through the happy moments. When I think of God, I kind of picture my mom, because she helped teach me what unconditional love is. She taught me how to live and demonstrate unconditional love. So to me, moms are the closest thing to God. That's not to take away fatherhood or men. But there's something special about Mom. Again, we all have the little stories. But I will close with this. Many of you have heard it before. My mother's favorite saying, it always has been and even is still her favorite saying to this day. Son, you have to feel it to heal it. She taught me that it was all right to feel. She taught me that it was all right to feel from the heart, to open the heart. She taught me how to listen from the heart. She taught me how to clear the thoughts that the mind can get entangled in. And she helped me to understand that feeling truly is communication. Miss Penny talked about how mothers are the queens of communicating. And I know that's because of the heart. So I ask each one of you today, open your heart. Open it the widest it has ever been. Listen to the guidance, the direction. But more importantly, feel the love. Feel the love that your mother had and has for you, if she's still here. Feel it. And feel the love that God has for you and for each of us. Let this day then be about the love that we are. And as we think and reflect on our moms, may we always remember to share that love unconditionally. To love, to give, and to demonstrate the beauty that is life. That's what I hope. That is what I pray for this day. Thank you. Miss Penny will now lead us into meditation.
Before we start the meditation, as Eddie was speaking, I just wanted aha is that we are all mothers to each other. Let's accept our place, and not only that, but accept the love that's extended by someone else. So as we get ready for the meditation, let's move in just a moment and breathe in, I am. And breathe out, not this body. And breathe in, I am. And breathe out, not even this mind. And breathe in, I am. And breathe out, life. Let's take just a minute to get comfortable and let your breath set its own rhythm. Reflect on the simple moments when your spirit has been renewed by a smile from a stranger, or the energy of a child, or beauty, whether you found it in a flower, in the sunset, or through a friend. And let's take just a moment to reflect on the energy that symbolizes the mother, or the feminine aspect of life. Beauty, creativity, love unconditionally. And ask, where might we share that energy in the coming weeks? And where might we receive it from? And as we move into our week, let us become aware of the energy of love, peace, joy, and friendship that come our way. Throughout this coming week, let us remember the promise of Source found in Isaiah 66:13. As one whom his mother comforts, so I will comfort you. Divine love through me blesses all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We give and receive in love.